There is silence as the river sunset scent disappears along with summer. Autumn lets out a sigh, not necessarily out of relief, but of knowledge. She now knows it wasn't her, and she can wait her turn with the anticipation much worse than the actual act of being taken. The steel in her piercings itches as she now smells her own candle. The smell of deep ocean fills the darkness with the last two treats left as the voice speaks. Speaking from one of the chairs, where if Dylan or even Autumn turned to look at the source, the voice switched to another seat. But if they're careful and only look out of the corner of their eyes, they can dimly see a humanoid figure sitting on the seat, sitting on all of the seats. The friends are now surrounded with many figures who all speak with one voice, but only one speaks at a time. In this darkness, only the candles offer warmth, and one speaks unseen, and another observes unseen, far more curious, as the voice continues their story, and Autumn's turn is finally here. After escaping Fair Verona, you can make your way into the Morris's mine, a mine that is quite old. For centuries, the gold in this mine kept Vanderburg wealthy, and the original owner of the mine is still around, Mr. Pyre. The gold helped keep the casino open, and wealth is something that Mr. Pyre covets above all else. As Mr. Pyre dug deeper and deeper into the mine, something deep inside was released, something that made its way into the water, poisoning and changing first the miners, and then making its way into the city. The changes were so quick and without warning that all of the miners were changed without even a chance to warn anyone else. The mine was sealed off by the government while they had the chance, but Mr. Pyre kept his personal tunnel into the mine open, though the reason why is not known by anyone. The mine is very dangerous. To enter it, you will need a full environmental suit and your own supply of oxygen. The mutated water isn't just liquid here. It is also a gas in the form of steam, mist, and condensation that falls from the ceiling. It will mutate anyone who is exposed in mere seconds. The water is purest in the mine, undiluted, and close to the source of the event. So the enemy that lives in the mines are the most dangerous you will encounter. You will find miners who were mutated in their own suits, exposed through small tears or even by taking off their respirators for just a few moments, exposing their insides to the mutation, causing them to change into the enemy. Now merged with their suits, tools, and even the mine itself, they now continue to mine deep in the darkness. They no longer seek gold, metal, wealth, nor secrets. The enemy in these tunnels are seeking to unleash more of the source that has caused the event. Because even now, the source isn't fully unleashed. You will be given a chance to fully seal away the source that caused the mutations. It will not undo everything that has been done. It likely won't even be noticed for a long time, but you can sleep well knowing you kept things from getting worse. And if you've seen the source, you will understand why it was important to seal it away. In the lowest level of the mine, you will find a shaft that goes even deeper. At the bottom of that shaft is the remnants of a dark tomb. Surrounded by water, the tomb acts like an island in the underground river. Black steps are made from a material that is nearly unbreakable and impossible for human hands to shape. These steps extend far below the water. For how long, no one truly knows, because none who have tried to explore it have ever come back. On the top of the dais is a sarcophagus, over 4 meters long and carved with many horrifying prophecies of the world ending in many horrifying ways. A promise of what would happen if what is trapped inside ever gets out. 4 chains hold the sarcophagus lid shut, and they are held down by nails made out of the same nearly unbreakable material. It is here the miners are hard at work, spending weeks just trying to loosen one single nail, and if given enough time, they will succeed. And as for where the mutagen comes from, at the back of the sarcophagus there is a single hairline fracture, barely the width of a human hair. And yet from this crack a watery black fluid drips out of the sarcophagus and leaches into the water around the dais. All of this death and mutation is because of a single crack. A single crack that killed an entire city and nearly wiped out humanity. Can you seal the crack? Or maybe you can find another way to keep the miners from loosening the prison or widening the crack. But don't get too close to the sarcophagus. What is inside cannot get out, but it hungers greatly and its power is great enough to manipulate those around its prison. If it knows you're nearby, it will convince you to feed yourself to itself. The sarcophagus has a single opening big enough for someone to slide in, and if you do go inside, you will see what lives in the sarcophagus. Though to call it living would be misleading. It is neither living nor dead. The darkness inside of the sarcophagus is too small. What is inside of it is far too large. It has many teeth. It has many more eyes, and it hungers. The source always hungers, and it always feeds. Every death of those eaten is repeated over and over for all of eternity. Every time, a fresh new hell as the source consumes your essence into a more and more basic form until there is nothing left of you after countless deaths. How long will this take? I cannot say. The source is still eating the very first thing that ever fell in its maw. The source's power is great and it is ancient. Before the sun was ever formed, it was trapped in the sarcophagus. And if it is ever released, the planet, the solar system, and even our galaxy are far too small places for the source to exist in or even care about. If you manage to seal the source away, then you may find a single boat that leads away. Ride the boat and you will be taken far from the Morris mine. Following the underwater river, you can see in the dim light of the boat's lantern, you can see the water clear from black to blue, and then clear as the world around you heals and you make your way home. When the river takes you out of the mine, you will make your way to an isolated house. This is the only way off the boat because the river ends here and the yard is surrounded by tall fences. And the only way out is to go into the house at the center of it all.